Hey, Tyler here. So today we're going to do something that's definitely going to help you improve your English. What we're going to do is we're going to shadow a scene together, but I'm going to show you the words and connections people struggle with the most so you're able to shadow this and be able to do it correctly. So let's do it.
And now, it's a table for two. Ugh, why couldn't it have just worked out? Oh, sorry, I didn't tell you the first part. My friend, Hazel, could have been one step closer to getting adopted today. But it didn't happen. Her weekend visit got canceled. Which probably doesn't sound like a big deal, but believe me, it is. You only get so many chances to find a forever family, and the older you get, the harder it is. She's meeting a new couple on Sunday. If I could just give her a little good luck. But you can't give someone something you've never had.
Let's begin with these three words here. I know it seems a little bit tricky, but let me show you what happens here so you understand. The first thing we need to do is identify the sounds we don't need so we can eliminate them and make this easier. So the first sound we're eliminating is the T sound and couldn't. After this class, once you start paying attention to the words couldn't, shouldn't, wouldn't, you're going to realize that we usually don't pronounce the T sound unless the next word is you. And not only that, but we have a longer version and a shorter version for these words. So the longer version is couldn't, shouldn't, wouldn't, where we add a schwa sound. Now instead of saying the longer version, we're going to use a glottal T sound, that uh-oh sound, the same sound we use in words such as mountain and button. So we're going to say couldn't, shouldn't, wouldn't. Since we're using this version, we're going to connect to the word it with an N sound. Then something interesting happens to the word have. A lot of times when we say this word quickly, we drop the H and change the A sound to a schwa. You know that sound we have. For example, I have 3 kids. Now I want you to pay attention to this word. Did you notice she didn't pronounce the E sound before D? There are only 3 rules you have to know to nail how to pronounce regular verbs in the past. You know, the ones that end in ED. And this is how it works. The first option we have is to pronounce ED as T. And this happens when the base word ends in a voiceless sound, like k, p, s, f, sh. For example, talked, or watched, or picked. Remember that here, no vowel sound is added. The second option we have is we pronounce ED as D, when the base word ends in a voiced sound like n, l, v, g, or vowels. For example, called, or cleaned, or played. Remember here, we still don't pronounce the vowel sound here. All you have to do is pronounce the soft, natural D sound at the end. And in the third option, we pronounce ED as id, when the base word already ends in T or D sound, because we can't add another T or D without a vowel in between. For example, decide becomes decided, need becomes needed, wait becomes waited. So here we have to add a full syllable.
Oh, sorry, I didn't tell you the first part.
Remember that longer and shorter version I mentioned about wouldn't, shouldn't, and couldn't? The same thing applies to didn't. We have a longer version, didn't, and we have a shorter version, didn't. Which, just like wouldn't, couldn't, shouldn't, we use a glottal sound.
My friend, Hazel, could have been one step closer to getting adopted today, but it didn't happen.
These three words are very common to show up together, and I feel that you should practice them together, but also separately. So this word is pronounced could. O and U here sound like and good, and the letter L is silent. Now remember I mentioned that the word have can be fully pronounced as have, or we can reduce it by eliminating the H sound and changing the A sound to a schwa or sound. If we do that, we can connect could and have with the flap T or fast D sound. So it sounds like could've. And the same thing applies to should and would. So we can say could've, should've, would've. Now, be careful with this word been. These two words sound different, at least here in the US. Been is pronounced with an E sound, but been is pronounced with an I sound. And sometimes it's so soft, you can pronounce it with a schwa sound. So by putting these three words together, we get could have been. Could have been.
Her weekend visit got canceled, which probably doesn't sound like a big deal, but believe me, it is.
I'm not sure if you noticed, but she didn't say visit was canceled. She said the visit got canceled. But don't worry because both options are right. But probably the version you learned in school was canceled. But using got is very common in spoken American English. It sounds a bit more casual, more conversational. Then she used the expression big deal. When you say something is a big deal, it means it's important, serious, or impressive. For example, getting into Harvard is a big deal. Having a baby is a big deal. But we can also use big deal sarcastically, which means something like, that's not impressive, or that's not important, or why should I care? For example, I made $5 today. Big deal. Or I've seen that movie already. Big deal. Remember that tone is everything. If you say it flat or with an attitude, it sounds a little bit dismissive. Well, that's it today. I hope this was helpful. And if you want me to pick a movie, TV show, or video to break down, let me know in the comments. Thank you so much, and I'll see you in the next video.
Oh, I'm slipping away, so don't let